Any leftover liquor, feel free to send to me. I think there's like tariffs or something. Probably, it's not worth it. Getting ads for constipation relief? I mean, that's probably like right on though. They probably got you like right dialed in. Alcoholic? No, you, Tim. Oh, that's right. I got you backwards. You're right. You're diarrhea relief. What was that was happening? Oh, right. I was playing that like occult doctor game, and there was always like these guys, and they would say like, they would say the game would say they're almost dead, and they would come in and say, my I can't stop the shit coming out of my ass or something like that. And so they're almost dead. Odd. Apparently, it's true. Many people shit themselves when they're about to die. Yeah, I could make sense, but I think these people were dying because they were shitting themselves. So that's a little different. Some of these I like totally forget I even have like this fucking thing, man. Like I think I drank this like one time. So, the first thing I gotta do is where that black cabinet is, I need to put that in the corner. And I need to move this other cabinet out. I want the black cabinet in the corner. So it's like, I have to take a lot of the shit out of that wooden one. See if I can kind of move it. And there's gonna be like, so much alcohol around. However, people do experience bowel and bladder release, including pooping as muscles relax during the dying process. Yeah, no, I'm well aware. You can't see it on this camera that well, but like this whole first shelf is like all Arkham Horror stuff, like Arkham Horror RPG stuff. Like just binders and binders of stuff. Wear this because South Park did an episode. That sounds exactly like a reason you would know. Yeah, I really wish this other camera fucking would work, man. This thing. I'm gonna have to just fucking write it off. It's actually like pretty nice to be able to just like take this and move it around. But like, I need another one of these kinds of cameras, or really I need one that's works with these ones. Which is what I wanted to do for a while, but yeah. Bottles are in the chat. Actually, I have no idea if my volume's good because further away than normal. I just don't want to like change the cameras such that like it's gonna be a pain in the ass to fucking reset it up after I'm done. This is like the minimum amount of work I could do to make it like somewhat visible. Thomas Beaumont, how's it going? Although, are you Québécois? I'm not Québécois, but I get the feeling you're Québécois. Or maybe from France. I don't know. I guess that's also possible. Beaumont, that's in Texas? That's this fellow's last name. Although I wouldn't be surprised if that Texas place was, named for a French person or someone with a French ancestry. Beaumont would be like beautiful mountain in French or something like that. Heard of Louisiana Purchase? Yeah, that would make sense. Alright, so right now the cabinet's empty. Well, not empty. It's empty except for the Arkham Horror RPG stuff. So I'm kind of hoping I can move it without taking the Arkham Horror RPG stuff out of it. But it's like, see if I can get this over. Like binders and binders of this shit. In case you guys ever want to play Arkham Horror, I got all this shit. Literally fucking all of it. So I'm going to try to move the wood one and then replace it with the steel one, and then we'll fill the steel one. And then I'm assuming the steel one will take everything, but we'll leave the wood one left over for, we'll leave the wooden one left over for if I overflow again, and then the idea would be I'll just buy another steel one exactly the same.
The mystic portal awaits.
It's like some kind of glass fucking shattered under that, so I'm gonna fucking sweep it up. That thing's like been in that corner since we moved in. So at one point it just had like glasses and stuff on it. Hey, Taylor. Yeah, you probably can't see all that much from up there, but like this place is full of bottles right now. There's like a whole bunch more underneath the desk that I can't quite show because the camera doesn't really want to go that far. Yeah, so this thing does have a lock on it, but at this point it's not really of any consequence that it has a lock on it, but I guess in theory in the future if I had to worry about the kid wanting to get into it, then it would be locked, but at this point I don't think he's even remotely interested. But I guess it's future-proofed like that. Kind of decide like what should go where, but I have the feeling I'll just put, well, I think I'll just put bourbons on the top. Each shelf is made to hold 180 pounds, so I feel like that's like more than enough. Totally never got into the liquor cabinet as a teen. Yeah, never. Never you. That's the thing though, is like I don't even if you didn't know, this doesn't even look like a liquor cabinet. This looks like a storage locker you would have in your garage for power tools. But I just wanted to make sure it was opaque and it had enough weight that it would hold anything I put in it, because I don't want to have to worry about, hey, there's like, I don't know, 30 bottles on this shelf, it's going to collapse. So literally just got the most industrial thing possible for like the most reasonable amount of money. It's not a good display piece. Looks more like a gun safe. Yeah, exactly. Um, it's like very practical. I guess there's a world where maybe like, I don't know, if I moved somewhere and I wanted to like have a display of a huge collection, I would change the way I'm storing it. But right now, like, it's like just the most functional possible answer. The other thing too is like, obviously we've already talked about a bunch of times about how like UV rays damages whiskey, and we don't want to like, where I drink this stuff very slowly, I don't want any of it to be damaged. But at the same time, like glass, nice display cabinets are like way more expensive. um, but yeah, so I have to decide if I want to put bourbons on the top or bottom, and then I'm just gonna get started with bourbons. Maybe I'll put bourbons on the top. At some point, like, there's something to be said for like trying to do it in some kind of like alphabetical order. Maybe I should be doing that now. Blow out my like list, you know. Because everything here is accounted for right now. Oh, you dare. Oh, don't you dare. I just realized there's a problem. We have a problem. Can you see the problem? I think everybody can see the problem right now. It wasn't a problem before because the bigger cabinet was unreachable, but that cabinet is not. And before, that cabinet had bottles on top of it, so they couldn't jump on it because it was the bottles made it taller. But she can get up to the top now. Hi. Are you going to be a problem up there? Yeah, this one also you can anchor it. There's little holes I can show you away from the mic, but yeah, there's little holes there that will anchor to the wall. The problem with this particular, I mean, I could anchor it if I really wanted to, but there's molding that goes around the bottom of this room. I can't really show it to you, but it kind of like makes it a little bit awkward to anchor, but ultimately, like, we're not going to stay in this building forever. So. Yeah, there's a world where like when we move out of here and I like have like some kind of basement um spot that I might want like cabinets that look better, but I'm not that concerned about it right now. It's a problem for when I have more money. Right now it's just like the cheapest, most efficient way to store the stuff. That's Mosley's in the bottom of it right now. Jose, you doing, bub? Bottom shelf. Yeah, we'll just put bourbons on the top, I think. I gotta even do them in order. Bourbon or bourbon? Yeah, that's a that's a good question. Is this bourbon or is this Canadian whiskey? Buffalo Trace. What else is there? Oh, this is a good chance for you guys to see every single bottle, isn't it? I can show them all. Look at that. Bullet bourbon, barrel strength. Elijah Craig barrel proof. Where's that gone? Elijah Craig small batch. It was almost gone. Larceny barrel proof. Maker's Mark 101. What else is there? Michter's. I can get like 5 in a row if I really cram it in there. We'll fit a lot, I think. I'll fit in there. How's my TikTok bricked again? Hold on. That's not. Okay. Good. Alright, what else is it? Fearless High Rye. I'll pump the volume just like a little bit. I want to be too loud, but I'm like further away from the microphone. Actually, let me crank it up. I guess there isn't any reason I couldn't have it here for right now. Rabbit Hole Cave Hill. Weller Special Reserve. Wild Turkey. Of course, Rare Breed, wherever that went off to. Woodford Double Oaked. And we got these other American ones. Angel's Envy. Oh, McCarthy's. And Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Select. We have our bourbon infinity blend here. And then like 4 samples that I took at various points of that bourbon infinity blend. Okay, so I'm looking at that shelf and I'm like, man, does it look like it's sagging? I don't know. It said it was weight rated for 180 pounds. Surely that's not 180 pounds, right? Only solution is to drink it all. Yeah. I guess the question is, do I want to put the scotch on the bottom? Because the scotch is the most. I'll put the Canadian whiskey on the bottom. Really, I probably should have put the scotch on the top. I probably should have went scotch, Canadian, bourbon, other shit. Because Irish is not even Irish and blended Scotch is like not even gonna take up a shelf. A lot of the bourbons are like don't have a box. I guess that doesn't necessarily mean they have to go anywhere though. It's just like easier to get the ones like I guess I could take these all out of boxes if it's gonna be an opaque cabinet. In theory, I could just get rid of all these tubes, but I don't want to. Probably what it comes down to. Yeah, so I'll just put the Scotch next. It's got Aberfeldy 12-year. Oh, derp, here it is. Aberfeldy 16-year. We have Aberfeldy 21, but it's unopened, so the unopened stuff I'm going to leave under the desk. Everything in the cabinet's going to be already open. Deanston 9 brandy cask, that's this one. Deanston 18. What's this one? This one's almost empty. Glendronach 10, Glendronach 12. These are older Glendronach 12s. Glenglasso Port Soy. This one. Glenmorangie 10. And we're still on the lookout for a 12-year of this. Any chance I can like make this better angle? Probably not. Probably as good as I can get without doing anything too crazy. Oben. Oben 14. Old Pulteney 12. Which I think eventually we'll get some more Old Pulteneys because when my parents are up there, apparently some of my ancestry is from Wick where Old Pulteney's made, so that's kind of cool, I guess. Oran quarter cask. Highland Park 12-year. Litchig 9-year red wine. And Litchig 10. And Talisker 10. Hardbag 5-year-old WBC. Some of these ones have been floor whiskey for a while under the desk are like really dusty. Because I just never had any room to put them anywhere. Although ordering them like this does mean that like once I get them all in there, to add more, I'll have to like shift everything down. Which is maybe quite arduous, but it's okay. I'm anal enough for that. Hardbag 10. Ardbeg 10, Ardbeg Corey Vrecken. Can't even really tell that's a Corey Vrecken. Oh yeah, you can. There it is. Ardbeg Spectacular. I mean, I guess I'm just going to keep this one down in case we ever meet 20 sub points. So I'll just keep this one down. I'll keep it out of there. It's unopened, technically. Oogdahl. Oogdahl. Oogie. Bamore. I'm looking at trying to get some of these older Bamore OBs. They're not very expensive, but it's kind of like, again, it's like one of those things where like this product doesn't really like inspire very much confidence. So I don't know if the 15 and 18 are that good, but we'll have to try them eventually. They also have do have a new range that's entirely sherry matured, I think. The sherry oak range. And it also has a 12, 15, 18, and like a 21, I think. Unahaven. Our liquid date squares here. See, if I scrunch these in, I can probably get another row. There's probably enough space for another row, but see how much I want to cram it. Bolila 13 GM. Echo. Oh, here it is. Hard thing though is if I cram it, it'll make it like a lot harder to get stuff out. Kaloman, Bash Strength. This one is like green screened out. I guess it's here. And that GM barely fits in that third shelf. Did I measure it wrong? Can't tell. Lagavulin 8. Yeah, I get the feeling that third shelf was measured wrong because it's definitely smaller than the other ones. Okay, that's not a big deal. Lagavulin 16 or Lagavulin 11. In particular, this is the Caribbean rum. Ron Swanson, Nick Offerman one. See, that third shelf is a little smaller. They fit, but they just fit barely. Probably, I'm supposed to have the first and second shelf are supposed to go up one notch. I think maybe the first shelf is supposed to go up 2 notches, and then the second shelf is supposed to go up 1 notch or something like that, and then the other 2 shelves are supposed to go up 1 notch too. Clearly the top shelf is too tall, and the bottom 3 shelves are slightly too short. But it's only the very tallest bottles that are, not that they don't fit, but you have to tilt them a little bit to get them in. How did I fuck that up? I have to decide if I want to fix it right now. Might be one of those situations where we just fix it next time we like reorganize everything. There isn't very many bottles that are that tall that it's a problem, I don't think. Like the Spice Tree one, this is not going to fit at all. Shit. I think maybe I assumed the bourbons were going to be on the bottom, and that's why it's like that. Yeah, so maybe I gotta go put... that's kind of annoying. Maybe I have to go put all the bourbons on the bottom. I mean, I'll just adjust the shelf right now. What do I need to do? Put that one up 2, and that one up 2, and that one up 1. Oh, 2, 2, and 2, and 1. Doesn't increase that one. Yeah, maybe it's just 1 on that shelf, 2 on the second shelf, and then 1 on the third shelf. I think that fits everything. Somehow I messed up the spacing. The McCarthy's is a little odd to get in the top shelf, but that's the only thing. So, and that bottle is like really tall, so it's not so big of a deal. Oaken Grain, how's it going? How are you? How are you, sir? Yeah, I was considering getting rid of the tubes and stuff. The reason I have them all right now is before. I don't know if you're on vertical or horizontal, but if you're on vertical. The stream's also available on horizontal. You can see a little bit more, but this open area here, that was all Scotch tubes before on top of this wooden one. So the way I had it before, everything that was doesn't, like bourbon and Canadian whiskeys and stuff like that, that doesn't come in a tube. That was all inside the wooden cabinet. And all of the like Scotch and stuff that had tubes that like would protect it from UV was on top of the cabinet, so I still have them all. But yeah, I did consider like getting rid of them, but for now I'm just gonna keep them for the moment. But yeah, it would free up some more space, that is for sure. But yeah, no, thanks for popping in. I'm available on YouTube in vertical, horizontal, and Twitch TV, and I kind of do like these live kind of broadcasts like every weekday in the mornings. I work overnight, so I do all my kind of like media stuff in the mornings. But yeah, that cabinet was over full, so we got this one, which is quite a bit bigger. So I have to like reorganize all the stuff into that one. But yeah, I'm not like 100% sure how I want to do it yet, but at this point, like I got like a whole bunch of whiskey that's like on the floor under the desk that you can't see, and it's like stuff I didn't have any room for, so I had to like I have to like at least get it off the floor, and then even better for me, I work early morning so I can catch up at work. So I'm live every mornings, every day in the mornings. I do about 3 hours of video games, and I do like 1 hour of spirits related content. So the stuff that you've seen on the YouTube channel is all like clipped from my live stuff on Twitch. Obviously you can't see me right now, but like but yeah, no, I'd love to have you, absolutely. You're in Ontario, right? I think you're in Ontario. But yeah, we just have to get the floor whiskey off the floor. So that's the priority right now, and then we'll worry about that later. But yeah, like my top priority has always been like I drink through this stuff like so slowly that making sure the liquid doesn't get like damaged from UV rays, because one of the things like you don't see, but like right like right there, like right in this direction that the camera never shows, there's a large double door that goes out to a balcony, and it's frequently there's light coming in through there, so yeah, I know, bud. I'm talking to the people on the internet. So like making sure that light doesn't damage the spirits is like always been the most important thing to me. So it's like why I always keep all the tubes, and why I obviously chose like an opaque cabinet. But yeah, I'd like to. I mean, there might be a world where I take all the stuff out of boxes too. But part of it too though is like the idea that like if I show it on camera, I kind of want to have like the box that it comes in to kind of show the product somewhat. So that's part of the reason too. I think the door may help with that. Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's opaque for a reason. I did pick an opaque one for a reason, but yeah, there's just more considerations. But it would save a lot of space, and probably would look better like when you open it for sure. But for right now, we're kind of like at least getting the stuff off the floor, because I had like 30 bottles of random stuff on the floor. And of course, like I fucked up the shelving a little bit, so I have to like redo this whole second shelf pegging right now, which is unfortunate. Decided not to. Yeah, it's not really. It's probably not a game breaker, um, but definitely is a consideration, at least for me. Um, I guess like when I do like fresh cracks, if I open something that I've never tried before, then I guess you get the box. Then you might have some amount of a point where maybe when I do like a fresh crack, then there's a box, and then when I don't do a fresh crack, then there's no box. I don't know. Something about having a complete experience, you know? Because like ultimately, um, the reason I like don't have a whole bunch of YouTube stuff that's like highly edited is because YouTube is like doing very condensed, highly edited stuff is like maybe not my jam. I like live content. I like providing a live experience. Um, and if you are providing a live experience, it's more about the experience somewhat. So like I'm trying to like provide um, kind of like the most live interactivity as possible. So having like things like a reveal from like a box is like maybe something that's worth has some value, but I haven't decided yet. But yeah, so I'm mainly like a Twitch TV person, but it's hard to get noticed on Twitch TV. So I kind of like started posting the stuff to YouTube too, and clearly some people have been enjoying it. So it's all upside. Hard to record, edit them, etc. Yeah, that's the thing about it is like it's a lot of work. I used to do highly edited YouTube videos like several, not like several years ago. What's the best way to describe it? Like 15 years ago, 10 or 15 years ago. Um, and I found it to be a lot of work, and I didn't really like enjoy the process of like editing a bunch of stuff. And it is some amount of like streamlining a process so it's efficient for you to like shoot something and then edit it very quickly and stuff like that. But I just didn't enjoy the process, and I've always been a live media person. I've been doing um, live media for longer than Twitch TV's existed, basically. Um, so I've always wanted to do kind of more live media. So like kind of like what gets posted to YouTube is basically just very efficient, time efficient cuts of my live broadcast that's put onto YouTube, right? Everything that's on YouTube was recorded live with very minimal modifications. I just one shoot everything, one shot shoots of everything. And that's just because my experience of doing like highly edited content in the past was like just not, I wasn't very motivated to do it. And I'm a dad and I work full time, so it's like I don't have a lot of time to like sit down and do that and put out consistent content. So I kind of just focus on kind of providing a live experience, and then what I feel is like worth posting to YouTube. I kind of do. I do know that a lot of the stuff I put out is like maybe like slightly too long. It's like 25 to 40 minutes, a lot of it, because a lot of it is like long form, and I'm talking to people in chat like I am right now, right? And that's kind of like what more makes it much easier. I just do one take, minimal editing. Yeah, exactly. But part of it is like, for me personally, part of the point is like, when I put something on YouTube, I'm like showing like, hey, like this is the environment that we have like live kind of thing. Like, you know, people have questions or like whatever, like it's interactive, such that someone who sees the videos, it's like, yeah, you can watch them as a VOD and take that information from that. It's a little long for that. I'm trying to like compact it a little bit, because like really, when people see that the runtime is like over 25 minutes, it like is a little bit of a turn, and I understand that. But part of it is just like, you know, showcasing the atmosphere that I do live, where it's like interactive, and we're having a conversation and talking about interesting things and exploring whiskey and etc. And that person might like want to like hang out live. That's kind of like the angle of it. But I do want to do some more like short form, more targeted YouTube stuff. But a lot of it is I'm just so fucking busy that like getting around to like doing more than what I already do is a little bit of work. Like I bought this cabinet like, I don't know, like a month ago, and I didn't get it built till 2 weeks ago, and now I'm getting it filled. So it's just a lot of constraints on my time, but I want to keep doing more, and just hopefully have people show up live and hang out live every day. That's kind of like the goal, for me anyway. But yeah, like, it's so much work to get into the guts of the editing software that I just want to do like the least amount of overhead as possible. But yeah, definitely like, my target for YouTube would be more people who are interested in like long form, or like kind of like drink along kind of idea, where like, hey, you know, you're having the same dram as me, let's look at this together sort of thing, rather than like providing like really short form efficient information. But I kind of want to take that angle too, like maybe like I might want to do like of like really common popular OBEs, like for example this one, like Ben Romac 10, like just anything that's like readily available everywhere on the shelf, very common. Like maybe do like a shorts form, like 45-second thing of just like, hey, you know, this is what this is how I feel about it kind of thing. That way I could like kind of capture the best of both worlds, because at the end of the day, like vertical media, that's where everyone is right now, whether you like it or not. Some people will still consume long form horizontal media, but my broadcasts in vertical are like 5 or 10x more exposure than anything I do in horizontal. So I think really for growth, you want to try to put out as much vertical media as possible and kind of funnel those people into like more of your main stuff. I think that's a good strategy right now. Lecture on viewer acquisition. Yeah. Take my advice on viewer acquisition, the guy that doesn't really have that big of an audience. I'm just outlining my strategy that I feel like makes some amount of sense. I don't know. Like, no, there's the people who have made it. It's somewhat effortless for them. They kind of just post something and it goes everywhere. But no one really talks about really like how to try to make things grow when you're at the bottom, because the reality of the situation is some amount of it is just straight luck. All right, brother, off to dinner. We'll chat soon. All right. I appreciate you, Oak and Grain. Thanks for being here. Yeah, but yeah, I'm hanging out live every day. If you want to hang out, I'll be here. We'll talk some spirits. That stuff's only going to continue. I'm going to play all kinds of random video games in the future, but we're always going to do spirits. I'll check out some of your content too. I think you said you were doing some, you got some videos. I'll check some of that out too. How do I grow my OnlyFans subs? Well, Creix, I think what you need to do is you need to display your goods and then direct them to your OnlyFans. You know, you got to give them a little tease, you know. don't show them the whole ankle, okay? Just maybe like tease half the ankle and then say if you want the whole ankle. All right, rock on, Oak and Green. Cheers, man. Appreciate you. Feels like that, the way the shelves are, one shelf has to be slightly shorter. Kind of annoying. But what can you do, I guess? I see you, Mason. How's it going, man? I see you. Shit. Do I care which shelf is slightly shorter? It's not that big of a deal. How's the Orange Man situation affecting you within the True North? Not right now, basically. That's because, like, there's so much in, like, uncertainty of what the fuck's going on. Not to make this, I don't want to turn this political, but there's so much uncertainty with what's actually happening that nothing's changed very much. The only thing that's changed, as far as I know, that's made a noticeable impact, is that everybody in Canada is very, very concerned with buying Canadian products. Every retail store, like, for example, if you go to the grocery store, if you go to Walmart, or if you go to Superstore or anywhere, every single product has a tag on it that tells you if it's Canadian made, from Canadian products, or if it's got a tariff applied to it. So when you walk down the grocery store aisle, everything that has a maple leaf is a Canadian product, and everything that has a T on it is a tariffed product. So basically, like, people are very concerned with, like, purchasing Canadian products, even if they're more expensive. That's the only major difference as far as I can tell. But that's mostly because, A, it's kind of a little early, and B, the situation changes. The situation changes so quickly that it, like, for example, steel tariffs got put on like 4 days ago. But first of all, it's only been 4 days. And also, at first he said it was going to be 50, and now it's 25. And now on April 2nd, they're going to do something completely different. So it's like, you know, it's just like, basically the markets are really pissed off because no one knows what's going on. And it hasn't really impacted us very much because it hasn't had enough time for it to, like, make any kind of impact. Like, for example, at first there was a 25% tariff on everything, but then later they're like, oh, it's a 25% tariff on things that are not CUSMA compliant. So, like, anything that is compliant with the free trade policy that Trump signed last time he was in office, none of that stuff is tariffed. So it's like, but that happened like a few days after the original tariffs got put on. So it's like, nothing has been tariffed yet for long enough that no one can even tell, like, that anything's happened. It's basically just, all that's happened is a bunch of uncertainty has plagued the market. That's basically all that's happened. And also, Canadians are very pissed off and very concerned with buying Canadian products and boycotting American products. That's pretty much the only things that have happened. Oh, also, you can't buy U.S. liquor in Canada. Those are the three things that have happened. Which, it seems like there's no downside. Just everyone's very galvanized, and the market is very upset. I don't know. The most recent thing I read is basically that. So I don't know if you knew this, Nilo, but Doug Ford put a 25% surcharge on electricity from Ontario being sold to the States, and that pissed everyone off. Like, it pissed Donald Trump off really bad. So then he got really mad, and Doug Ford was really mad, and then Doug Ford went and, like, had some kind of meeting down there. And basically the results of the meeting, like, there's no longer a surcharge on Ontario electricity anymore. He dropped it, and basically what he said is that, based on the meeting, they had a 90-minute meeting, and half an hour of the meeting was them discussing the new discussing the strategy around the American tariff policy, and basically what Doug Ford said. He was like really optimistic about the situation, and pretty much what he said was they explained to us that tariffs are now just a global policy of the United States. It has nothing to do with Canada and Mexico. That it was just some bullshit that Donald Trump was starting some shit like to just get things rolling. But at the end of the day, is tariffs are just a global policy of the United States. And on April 2nd, every single country in the world, especially ones that have tariffs against American products, are going to receive tariffs from the American government. And that after that has happened, after the U.S. tariffs the entire world on April 2nd, any country that the U.S. likes will then be in immediate discussions to mitigate or remove tariffs. So basically, my understanding of the situation is the administration that's in Washington right now, their whole strategy with tariffs is they're going to tariff absolutely everybody who wants to access the American economy, and anyone who is a friend of the United States will get preferential treatment in removing or mitigating the tariffs. So basically, the way that Doug Ford's attitude has been, Doug Ford's kind of a hothead. If he's cool about it, to me, like what they told him in the meeting was basically that, hey, we're just going to get all these tariffs applied real quick, and then you and I we're going to sit down and talk about like getting Canada's shit removed because we're kind of friends. But the way that Donald Trump like started this whole situation was like really bad PR. Like it's kind of like he jumped the gun on Canada and Mexico, and kind of pissed everyone off. When really the end game is more like Canada and Mexico are probably more likely going to be fine, and everyone else in the world is going to get tariffed. That's my understanding of the situation right now. But yeah, he's putting tariffs so he can leverage taking them away. Yeah, basically. But I think at the end of the day, probably Canada and Mexico are going to end up with like pretty preferential tariffs. That's my thought. Mexico, I can understand going after Canada makes no damn sense. Yeah, I mean, really, I think when you, especially if you account the plus GDP the United States gets from importing Canadian oil, because again, the United States has a trade surplus with Canada if you ignore oil, and the only reason that we have a trade deficit, they have a trade deficit with Canada after oil, is because the oil that the United States buys from Canada, they refine it and make even more money off of it. They actually are plus money buying, entering a trade deficit with Canadian oil. So the situation almost makes no sense because the United States is profitable off of Canada. It's a trade deficit, but they're profitable. Whereas Mexico, there's all kinds of shit going on down there between fentanyl and the border and all kinds of shit. So I don't want to get super into it because I don't know the Mexican border that well, and I don't know the situation nearly as well as I know the Canadian border. But it makes no sense. But I think all it was is that like Donald Trump is unpredictable and he just did some crazy stuff. And at the end of the day, it's going to be fine for Canada and it'll probably be fine for Mexico. I think it's just that we kind of got off into like a really bad footing because Donald Trump is Donald Trump and he's a bit unpredictable. And the way that like, I think really ultimately what was supposed to happen is global tariffs were supposed to be applied on April 2nd and no tariffs were supposed to be applied before then. And then negotiations were going to end up happening with like very cooperative countries. But what ended up happening is Donald Trump had in his mind he was going to do tariffs on the whole world. So his strategy was we're just going to do tariffs for everything. And as soon as like he wanted to address fentanyl, he just said we're just doing tariffs right now. And he didn't really kind of like consider the impact that had. Because it just looks like you're attacking Canada and Mexico specifically and nobody else. which it just doesn't make any fucking sense. So I think all it is he jumped the gun and everything will be fine in the end. But he did a really good job of pissing off his neighbors, like a really good job. Like I've never seen American sentiment so low in Canada before, and I've never seen patriotic sentiment like so high in Canada before. Like it's actually crazy. Like in my whole life, I don't think I've ever seen patriotic Canadian sentiment as high as it is right now. Like especially in like the idea that we're not Americans. Like people are very clear that like we're not Americans, and it's mostly because of that 51st state shit. Which again, I think that 51st state shit is like some Donald Trump, crooked Hillary Clinton style like negging. I really think that all is a bunch of words, but it did a really good job of pissing off everyone north of the border. Like, and to be honest, if you want my opinion, I think it's a good thing. I think this little bit of pain and uncertainty is going to be a good thing for our country ultimately, because it's going to mean that it's to the disadvantage of the United States, somewhat, but I think we're going to send a lot more of our exports to places that are not the United States. And for years, we've been trying to get oil exports to places that aren't the U.S. because we export a shit ton to the U.S., but we very easily could be exporting to Europe and to Asia. But with the government that it's been for the past 10 years, they were so like environmentally conscious that they just never wanted to build any pipelines and never wanted to advance the oil sector. And I think that this is going to provoke the next government, whether it's Mark Carney or Pierre Poilievre, to get moving on projects that are going to bring our oil to the world. And I think it's only going to be upside for Canada after this like kind of turbulent period. Like I'd like to, honestly, there's no reason why we couldn't end up like Norway, where we're rich as fuck because we have so much oil and we're sending it to the world, because that's what Norway does, and they're like one of the only countries that has is like not in debt. Like they have like no debt. That's just because they know that oil is their country's economy and they fucking take advantage of it as much as possible. Screw our politics, the whole thing is dumb. Yeah, I mean it's a non-starter to begin with. It's a non-starter in every way. It's just again, I don't think he's serious about the Canada thing. He might be serious about the Greenland thing. They canceled Keystone? Yeah, the stupid thing about Keystone is we were ready to build Keystone. We wanted to have Keystone. And Donald Trump approved Keystone. And then Joe Biden killed Keystone the very first day he was in office. And now the company who wanted to build Keystone is like, we're not interested anymore. Because there's too much uncertainty with whether or not the project will actually go forward. We don't want to invest money in it anymore. So you guys can thank Joe Biden for the fact that Keystone didn't happen. We wanted Keystone. You guys probably also wanted Keystone. But some barely sentient old guy just killed it for a stupid reason, and now we're never going to have it because no company wants to build it anymore because there's too much uncertainty. They don't want to put money there. Because it takes so much money to plan to build it, like, and then it doesn't get built because some president, like, you know, by the time they could get halfway done, and then the next president could be a Democrat, and he'll just fucking write the project off again. Like, you know, they don't want to fucking be bothered, right? Yeah, I don't know. There's some natives that have some amount of point with the pipeline shit, but there's also a lot of natives that think pipelines are actually good because it provides jobs for them. So I don't know. It's definitely a hard thing where like I kind of get the environmental position of indigenous peoples, um, because it's like one in one with their religion in some way. I'm not like an expert, but I know it's like very important. And you can't like it's kind of like, you know, you're not gonna like blow up you know, uh you're not gonna put a pipeline through Jerusalem, like if that makes any sense, right? Um but at the same time, I think a lot of uh, natives, especially in Canada, are like very interested in like um, propping themselves up on their own 2 feet and not being like beholden to handouts. And pipelines, especially for Alberta tribes, are probably a great way to provide them with their own money and their own economic standings. But I don't know the intricacies of the situation, so I can't really like have an opinion. I just think that probably whatever the issues are there, like, you know, there's a resolution. What's left? I think it always like frustrates me. I think about like oil and emissions, especially in this country, is like just the fact that um, we have a high standard for the energy that we produce, and it's very like clean by comparison to like energy you get in some other places of the world. So it's actually better for emissions if like we supply energy than like China or India supplies energy, and they're gonna use the energy whether we like it or not. So um, it's actually better for the world's emissions if more of our energy gets to market rather than like India burning coal and stuff like that. Um, I don't like. I'm not an expert on the global politics, so you know something that I say can be wrong, but so I'm not that interested in like having a like debate about it, but or like being super knowledgeable about it. I just don't have the time for that. But I do know that a lot of these other countries are going to use energy, whether we like it or not. It's better to get it from very like clean sources like Canada and the United States than for them to be like burning coal in China and having the energy come to them that way. Yeah, yeah, that's something to do with it too. That does help, yeah. I fucked this up last time. For some reason I put the Bunnahabhain in front. That doesn't make any sense. All right, I think we're back. I think we're back to where we were before. Level 11, level 16, and now we're into Lefroy's. Lefroy Curtis. Lefroy Sherry Oak. Actually, these are taller. Are these going to fit? Yeah, it's not a great shelf to be slightly smaller. It should be the next one probably, but we'll just have to do a better job next time, I think. Oak Select. I think I did that one backwards. Yeah, I did that one backwards. Quarter cask. Some of these tubes are like right flush against the shelf on top of it that it kind of like supports the shelf on top of it. It's like not even the worst, to be honest. Aberlour, Abuna. Benromac 10. Craigellachie 13. That looks like so pale. And 17. That Abuna tube is so fat it won't take as many bottles. Oh shit, there's a 14 malt cask supposed to come first, this one. Glenallachie 10 cask strip. Glenfarclas 105. Glenfiddich 12. And Glenfiddich 15. Yeah, that one shelf's not optimal for these tubes. Glenfiddich Project 20. All right. That's all the single malts. All right, so blends. Got Big Smoke 50. We got Shifts Regal 12. Got those Compass Box ones. Ross, which hasn't been available since 2021. Then we have the Spice Tree one, which was just discontinued last year. Johnny Walker Black. McLean's Nose. Alright, so Irish now. Bushmills 10. We got Green Spot. Jameson Black Barrel. Jameson Single Pot Still 5 Oak. Redbreast 12. Have the 12, and we also have the Lestau edition. The Sexton, everyone's favorite. Coolest bottle, worst whiskey. Teeling single grain. This is the single grain Cabernet Sauvignon. We also have this one, which is the single malt, but this one was bottled in 2018, so it's quite an old version of the single malt. Raiders Tears Double Oak. Probably the biggest bottle, the tallest bottle that I have. I don't know if this will fit. Fucking barely fits. Wow. It really was upset over MFer. That's what it was upset about. MFer. Fucking automod. I'm gonna have to reduce the strength of the automod. I feel like it's regularly modding things that I don't give a fuck about. How do I do that? Moderation. Automod rule set. See, the stupid part is it's got no filtering or low filtering on most things. Would you consider MFer to be misogyny, sexuality, or a sex? No, see sex-based terms, I have no filtering. So it must be, it must consider that a sexuality term. But there's no way, right? Do you think it's a misogyny term? My misogyny is literally on 1 out of 4. The only things that I have high censoring on are, yeah, I don't know. Like, the way my censoring is, the only things that have, like, most of them are set on no filtering. The only things that have filtering on them are race, ethnicity, or religion-based comments, which I thought that made sense to filter that shit. And sexuality, gender, or sex. But I don't think MFer would be considered a sexuality or like gender term, right? Or is it? So the only thing I can think of, the only things that are left are misogyny, disability. I guess I have aggression and bullying on 1 out of 4. Maybe we'll take aggression and bullying off. We'll just ban people if they're an asshole. Let's try that. Test setting. Oh, I can test the setting. If I write MFer now, does it ban me? Enter. The selected automod settings won't hold this message. Okay, so let's try this again. I don't understand. It says the settings say it won't hold that word. But that was the word that was highlighted. It wasn't the word alcoholic, it was the word MFer. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. Hopefully it's better now. I don't know. Holy shit. How's it going, motherfuckers? Hi, Mark. Mock. How are you? Holy shit. Yeah, so I don't know I don't know if you ever seen the wooden one I had, but I had this wooden one, and that one was full. And I had like 30 bottles on the floor. So we got the big black one. It's all in your head. That what you're thinking, it's all in your head. We got the big black one. So the thing is like it's actually probably gonna take all of the bottles. Like it might actually be full. Which means I can overflow into I can overflow back into the wooden one. But I could also take all the scotch out of the tubes. That's the other thing. I'm trying to decide if I should do that instead. Because obviously this is an opaque one. So I don't have to worry about the windows that are right here, the large double door windows, like hitting all the bottles with UV. Because it's going to be in an opaque cabinet. So maybe I can just get rid of all the tubes and stuff, and that would save a bunch of space. But I haven't decided if I want to do that yet or not. But as it is right now, I'll probably fill that whole cabinet. Like that cabinet will be 100% full, but everything will be off the floor. And then I guess the rest of the overfill can go back into the fucking wooden one. And then eventually I'll have to buy another one of these black ones. Where are we? Did this, we did bourbon. All Canadian whiskey, our favorite. Alberta Premium cask strength, oh boy. Oh yeah, our Bridgeland bourbon. That's right, Canadian bourbon. I just put that on my shelf. Just put one on your shelf. The Alberta Premium. Yeah, Alberta Premium cask strength is really good. It's a really good rye. The unfortunate part is I don't know if anything else they make is actually worth drinking. There is a 10-year, not 10-year. There is a 20-year-old Alberta Premium limited release that comes around once in a while. It's like a 20-year-old Alberta Premium, but it's 40% alcohol, so I don't know if that's really any good. They also have something called a legacy batch, Alberta Premium Legacy Batch, which I've never tried, but I haven't heard great things about. Now, they did just release one, Alberta Distillers, what is it, like Rare Batch, I think? Yeah, Alberta Distillers Rare Batch, which is 100 proof, 23-year-old rye whiskey. It's 150 Canadian, pretty much everywhere you look. I had a chance to buy one, but I didn't buy it in November when I seen it at the whiskey festival. But there is actually still some bottles of it around, so I don't know if I should buy it or not. It's 23-year-old Alberta Premium, 100 proof. I don't know if that's worth like it's 50% more expensive than the Alberta Premium cask strength. So, uh, yeah, exactly, right? Like the cask strength is cheaper and it's really good. So, I don't know, 23-year at 100 proof for 50% more money, maybe. That being said, I definitely need more like ryes in general. I have lots of Canadian rye whiskeys, but the reality is I'm really low on American rye whiskeys, and of course the current political climate is really not optimal. It's not optimal for this sort of purchase. Um, but I definitely need some more American rye whiskeys, I think. We got a good amount of Canadians, but oh, of course, and the shittiest whiskey I think I own. Here it is right here. Canadian Club 20-year-old limited edition. God, this thing sucks. Um Need to stock up on Alberta, probably. Yeah, maybe. I don't know how it's like in the States. Like it might just be tariffed. But um up here, it's legitimately, if it's an American alcohol product, you cannot buy it. It's not on the shelf. Um R&R, see, I think you mean the ones called Rich and Rare, right? Rich and Rare. I don't know if you can get that up here. RR to me means was it Royal Reserve, I think. Um I suppose there's not like much down here. I could like point this at my face. I guess that shows a lot of my kitchen, but whatever. You can observe my microwave and board games. They smuggle in the dry villages in Alaska. Oh god. Um, See, I don't think they have that here. What we have is this thing called Royal Reserve, RR Royal Reserve. And when I think of like the dirt cheap shittiest whiskey, this is the one that I think of. It's close, but I think Rich and Rare is not a thing in Canada. It's a Canadian whiskey, I think. Rich and Rare, I think it's a Canadian whiskey, but I think it's a Canadian whiskey that's made for American market. It's like $10. Yeah. Lord Calvert. I don't even know what that is, but yeah, Royal Reserve is like when you think of like the guys in the military that are like drinking a little too much, that's what they buy, Royal Reserve. Um but yeah, I don't think Rich and Rare, just like Canadian Mist. I think Canadian Mist is not a thing up here either. Let me check Alberta. Alberta has more stuff. Um yeah, see, I don't think there's any Rich and Rare up here. They got Seagram 5 star though. I guess Alberta Premium is slightly cheaper than Royal Reserve. They're both rye whiskeys, though. Get into the Seagram's VO, the Seagram's 83. We still got that Seagram's vibe up here, you know. Of course, no one wants the Wayne Gretzky whiskey these days. But I think like Canadian Mist is like not even a thing up here. Is it? Oh, they do have Canadian Mist. Okay, I guess I'm wrong. It's pretty. That seems pretty expensive for Canadian Mist. But yeah, no, I can't unfortunately do a tasting of Rich and Rare. I do know what bottle you mean though. Um, it doesn't it doesn't exist up here. This one here. Yeah. It's like Canadian whiskey that's made for the US market. It's a Sazerac product that they make in Canada and they just send to the States. They don't they don't actually sell that up here. Holy fuck. Um Instead they have quality products like Crown Royal single malt, you know. Holy fuck. $200 in a dry village? I could see that. I can't remember what it's like in I can't remember what it's like in Northwest Territories and stuff like that. There's I don't know what rules they have. But I think there's some places that do have rules in northern Canada, like in Northwest Territories, Nunavut. For some reason, I don't think Yukon is as bad, but I can't remember. The only thing I remember is there used to be like a problem where they would sniff gas up there. That was actually the problem. It wasn't like alcoholism. It was like guys like sniffing gasoline fumes. That was actually the problem they were having. But that might have been years ago. I fucking don't pay attention to politics. It's best for my sanity if I don't pay too much attention to the news, to things I can't do anything about. Alaska State Troopers, they have teams trying to stop the smuggling of alcohol. Fucking that sounds terrifying. Never get my 40 Creek Confederation Oak Reserve, man. What else is next? There's a Lot 40. Lot 40, Dark Oak, and Explorations. Yeah, Lot 40, that's a 100% rye whiskey. And then there's the one that was refinished in number 4 char. And then this one, which was finished in a peated quarter. Um, and they're all terrible. They're not that bad, but this is like the best one. The regular one's the best one. It feels like every time they try to do something to a Lot 40, it makes it worse. At least that's been my experience. They're going, man, Lot 40 is pretty good. If they increased the proof and did something cool to it, man, it'd be so good. And it's like just bad every time. Um, oh, Pike Creek. 10-year-old rum barrel finish. Now Red Bank. How many Red Banks should I put in there? Any? I guess I can put my open Red Bank in there. Maybe I should put all these other Red Banks on this thing. Problem is, like, the cat's gonna knock these over. I low key kind of hope next year at the festival they give me more Red Banks, just because I think it would be funny. um, Signal Hill Founder Select Overproof. This is pretty good. For a blended Canadian whiskey, it's pretty damn good actually. Just a whole wall of the same bottle, yeah. It was funny because like um I got 4 for free. And really I should have had 5, but they like miscounted when they gave me a bunch and I wasn't really worried about it at the time. But like it was kind of funny because like guys would go up and they'd buy like, like some really expensive bottles. They'll buy like 2 bottles, but the bottles would be like $300 bottles. So that was like $600. And they would give you 1 red bank for every $150. So they would come up with their 2 bottles and they'd be like, "Hey, do you want 5 bottles of red bank with this?" and, you're like, "Man, the guy clearly has a certain level of taste. He doesn't want another 5 bottles of blended Canadian whiskey for free." Uh, but yeah, it would just be funny because there's no way I'm gonna like pay $50 a bottle for that for the meme. It's not. The meme isn't worth $50 a bottle. Yeah, I'm good. That's what I mean. That's exactly what happened. Is like I was in there shopping, and a guy was like, "Well, you can get another 5 free bottles of Red Bank," and they were like, "Yeah, no, I'm good." I really should have asked. Actually, I really should have asked if I could have had their 5 bottles of Red Bank. That would have been a good meme. I should have asked. I'll take them. God damn. But yeah, for $52 a bottle, it's not the meme's not worth it. Yeah, let's see. We got our shoulder point cask strength, single malt, and then we have yeah, this little one, this whiskey club one. This is seaweed and peat cask strength. And then we have the driftwood smoked barrel one. I have to like keep this pamphlet with this fucking thing though. Yeah, I hope they send me something interesting the next shelter point release. That'd be good. Oh yeah, this thing. This cashy white oak blended whiskey, man, this stuff is like kind of nasty. um it wasn't I feel like it wasn't that bad when I first tried it, but like when I wrote the review for this, there are some really gnarly notes that came out of this fucking bottle. Like, what did I write about it? Um on the aroma, grain, malt, cigarette smoke, apple juice, dried out smoked old cheddar, peppered omelet, shriveled up plum, and on the palate, grain malt, bitter ash, metal ashtray, dry apple juice. Yeah, metal ashtray. That was the one. That's the one that you're like, I don't know, I don't know. I don't know about that metal ashtray note. It's like some part of the grain is peated. It's like really lightly peated, but the peat like smoke comes across as like cigarette smoke. It's like not great. Um, yeah. I got this one, the World Whiskey, which is actually a lot smokier than I thought. But this is pretty good. I like this one. I couldn't find the rye in it, but most of the other stuff's in there. Of course, the Hibiki and this thing is just fucking overpriced, unfortunately. It's not that it's not that bad really, but it's not worth the money. And then we have just a couple of rums and things, stuff at the bottom. Is this even gonna fit everything? Might not. I might have to scooch some stuff over. Yeah, I got Appleton 12. What else is there? This Bacardi 10 Grand Reserva, which is basically just like drinking molasses. It's dangerous, really. Um, that slightly lemony pledge Eldorado stuff. Um, Gonna have this Barbados 2013 rum. And then, oh yeah, this thing. Is almost gone, but like, this is definitely way too sweetened, and they put way too much sugar in this fucking thing. It's like, I think the actual rum's not that good, and they just like slammed it with sugar. Oh, I forgot to put that Irish Infinity in there somewhere. This room. What else is there? All right, so it's Courvoisier, and there's that Larson XO. And then there's this the couple gins. And that's it. Holy fuck. It's been so long since I haven't had whiskey on my floor. It's kind of wild to see the floor again. Well, yeah, exactly. See now, like I have now I have a whole I have a whole wood cabinet and the top in theory if the cats don't keep jumping up there, but probably they will. I have a whole wood cabinet I can fill. And then I could, so what's going to happen? It's just a natural progression of things. The black cabinet is like, there's like space between the rows. Like I could jam it, but it's mostly full. Maybe I could get like another couple rows in if I jammed it, like maybe one more row per shelf, like maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's like 6. Like I could maybe put like 20% more in there. Um, but probably what's going to happen is I'll just leave this as it is, and then we'll fill up this thing again. And then once this is full and we start putting stuff on the floor again, then we'll just buy another one of these black cabinets and we'll start the process over again. You and I both know that's what's going to happen. Got a whole damn liquor store in his home? I don't, and that's the problem, okay? That's the problem. If I did, it would be good, but the thing is there's just too many things that I'm missing. That being said, I have a better selection than most regular old bars. But, you know, I'm looking at that bar in town. They got 700 whiskeys. The specialty whiskey bar in town has 700 whiskeys, and I'm sitting here going, you know, they're one upping me over there. I can't, you know. I gotta at least be doing as good as they are. Oh, my music stopped. I wonder how long that was been stopped for. The weight limit on my wooden shelves keeps me slightly in check. Yeah, so that's why I deliberately ordered this cabinet, because the weight limit on the shelves was 180 pounds. Um, so my logic was like, well, I'm slightly heavier than 180 pounds, but not by a lot. So if one of those shelves is weight limited to hold me, it'll probably be fine with whatever I put in there. Because I think, again, like, that's made for your garage to hold some fucking power tools or some shit. It's not made for this. But it keeps me peace of mind, you know? It's that I think the shelves are good. I'm gonna have to buy another one eventually. That's just, it is what it is. Because if that cabinet roughly fits like 110, 120 bottles, then that means we need, I don't know, like 6 of those, and then we'll be as good as the as the bar downtown. Where do these go? I guess I can put these behind the bourbon. There's room. But yeah, it's like, it's not great display. And that's one of the things that, like, I know it's like, yeah, it's opaque black cabinet. It protects the liquid, but it's not a great display, you know. I know it's not like one of those things where it's like, oh my god, look at all the spirits you have. It's so cool. It's like not like that at all, but I'm so functional, right? Like, nobody comes over here. Like, it's not like I have people over to try my whiskey. It's just me, really. Me and you guys. Sometimes my wife has something, and sometimes my wife's friends might come over and have something. But that's it. So I tried. I really tried. I have a shit ton of board games, which obvious. I was pointing the camera up here before, but all the top of those kitchen cabinets are all board games. But I have a shit ton. I have a mega shit ton of board games. And that's what I was showing with this wooden cabinet before. Like the whole top of that is Arkham Horror RPG stuff. Like, I had tried to get people to come over. Look, I have all this alcohol, and we can play board games. Isn't that sweet? And then no one wants to come over. Like, okay, you don't have to pay anything. You just have to show up. No one wants to show up. Okay. If there's one thing I have more than bottles of alcohol, it's board games. I have more physical board games than I have bottles of alcohol. But at this point, no one really uses the physical board games. So we're going to end up having more bottles of alcohol than board games eventually. It's just how it's going to be. Yeah, I'm glad I have that done. I got to fucking sweep. Shit. So what's left down here is the stuff that's not open. So there's this, like, this art bag spectacular for the 20 sub points. The community infinity bottle. I got this Highland Park cask strength. The lighting is kind of scuffed because I moved the light. Actually, I can probably move it back now. What else is there? Yeah, I have this Highland Park cask strength. What else is down here? Highland Park 15. I have this Martell, the SOP cognac. This Balvenie Week of Peat 14-year-old. There's the Glendronach 10s. Like, these are all things that won't fit in the cabinet. In theory, I'll have to put these in the brown one, the wooden one. So this is a 10-year-old Glendronach that I thought was entirely PX cask matured, but it's actually PX and Oloroso. They hoodwinked me a little bit. Or Smith and Cross Jamaican rum. And Auerfeldy 21, which we'll get to eventually too. Yeah, all this stuff is like under the desk because that way I don't have to dig it out for when we open it. But everything else got in the cabinet. How long did that take? Well, it took 2.5 hours. That's not that bad. I gotta fucking sweep under here though. I'm probably gonna pick up some more stuff this week sometime because our community tasting poll I think is done today. So I gotta pick up one of those. Then I'll probably pick up 2 or 3 more other things. You need to get another Roomba, man. Like, ever since our Roomba died, man, it's like so much work to clean now. Doubles as a toy for my cat. Yeah, it was kind of weird. Like, Nidra was really, really obsessed with the Roomba. It was like kind of, it's kind of awkward. I kind of think I got the feeling that she thought it was a real animal, and she was friends with it. That's the vibe I got. And Mosley just didn't want to go anything, didn't want anything to do with that cat, or that Roomba. Let me take a picture. I'll probably like change this camera back. There it is. There's the movie magic. That's the whole green screen. That right there. That's it. That's all I use for a green screen. Do it. Beep 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 beep. Yeah, I'll take a picture of the whole shebang here. Okay. Let me get my chair. Yeah, I'd like to get what happened to my other fucking camera. Whoop. Here. Fine. I'd like to get a handheld camera too, but I guess like I guess I could set up my phone to like capture too. I guess that's the other thing I could do. But I intended for that Razer Kio to be a handheld camera, but it's a piece of shit. I can't get it to work right with the other cameras. The other cameras like just crash and get angry as soon as I try to hook up the Razer Kio. They're like, what the fuck are you doing with this off-brand piece of shit Razer garbage thing? Where my pictures go. So we'll post one of these in our super secret subscriber inside scoop and also show it live. Anyone else will have to dig through the VOD. Haha. Browse. Oh, that's way too fucking big. Yeah. There we go. There it is. And all the things. So I don't know exactly the bottle count right now, but it's over 100. It's probably like 120 or something like that. It's probably like 120, not including the 3 red banks, but it is including like that stuff in the uncracked stuff in the bags. So it's probably like 115 bottles in the cabinet. So that's roughly, and it's the only things that aren't full, I guess, is like this part here, where the bourbon is and those sample bottles are. There's like some room in the back of there. There's some room in the back of this black Glenfiddich 20 tube. But that's pretty much it. Everything else, like, there's room between the rows, though, where I could, like, really crunch them in. I could really slam them in. But it's roughly organized right now, where there's bourbon and then single malt scotch, like, bot category. So there's Highlands, Islas, Spaysides, etc. Islands are in the back there somewhere. And then this shelf down here is blended Irish and the start of Canadian, and then the rest of the Canadian is on the bottom, plus the world whiskey and the rum and other random stuff, cognac, whatever. Of course, as these categories expand, they will no longer be organized, but it's organized in there right now. So that way, like, if I'm looking for something, I don't have to dig through. I know, like, I should know exactly where it is. Until we start to fill up this fucking brown thing again and have shit on the floor. in which case we'll have to get another cabinet. Not bad. I guess we don't have to, at least we don't have to worry about the American whiskey section expanding for the time being. We don't have to worry about that. It can stay on the top shelf. I guess maybe that was the wisest thing I did, is put the put the American whiskey in first. Because that's not going to change much in the near future. Okay. It's not bad. It's not bad. I wish I had more. It's hard. Like, obviously, I have a budget. There is a budget. The thing that I have a hard time with is, like, I just want to buy scotch, but I wish I had more other things. Like, I wish I had more rums, cognacs. I wish I had more Irish whiskeys. My Canadian whiskeys are coming along. But it's hard to, like, go and be like, hey, I want to buy, like, one thing from every category. I just want to buy scotch. I want to buy so much scotch, just so much scotch I want. So, like, the one thing I wish I had more is I wish I had more, like, more and better quality rums and more and better quality cognacs. That's, like, the places where I really wish I had better selection. Good whiskey variety. Yeah, I'm trying to, like, I'm pretty heavy on Isla. Isla's still the category I have the most things in, but like it's the one that I expanded the quickest. And then I was like, okay, let's pump the brakes a little bit. Let's get some Highland stuff. Let's get some Space Side stuff. Because like as soon as I was down with the peat, as soon as I was like, I wouldn't say down. I was never like disliked the peat and it was too much, but like once I discovered peat, I just wanted peated everything. I was like, oh, I fucking love peat. I want all the peat. And even a lot of my non-Isla stuff is smoky. So that's the one thing is like I've kind of like tried to backfill some of the other categories and experience some more like non-peated stuff. Because I was smitten immediately with peated stuff. And of course, like whiskey is, yeah, it's the major focus. And part of that is just because like I have to go out of my way a little bit to get better rums and cognacs. I just learned about some cognacs available in Alberta, for example, that are like not from the big four houses, that are like a better quality product, that I want to start trying some of those. And of course, there's always like, I'm so clueless with rums. I think that's the place where like I could use the most personal understanding and growth is in the rum category, because I go and look in the rum category in the shops around here, and there's basically nothing. Yeah, Smith & Cross is a new bottle for me. I've never had it before. And I know that for some people, that's like the start of their funk adventure, you know. You cannot get Smith & Cross here. I had to order this. I had to order this from Alberta. That's the only way I could get one of these. So what tends to happen is I go, and Alberta has like so much more stuff than I can get locally. So, but what happens is I go to like the rum category on the Alberta sites, and I have no idea what I'm looking at. It's like one of those things where like if I go to the whiskey category, and even if it's a whiskey I've never heard of, I'm versed enough in whiskey that if I look at the bottle, I'm like, I can roughly understand what I'm looking at. It's like, oh, this is from this region, or this is peated or not peated. This is, you know, what cask is used. This is what I can expect. And then I look at like the rum category and I'm like, I have no fucking clue what's going on. I was like, what does this mean? I don't know. I went through a rabbit hole to try to understand what this plumber and Wedderburn thing meant. And I think people don't really use these terms anymore too much. But like for example, if this was like a whiskey term, I would be like, I would know exactly what, I wouldn't have to worry about it. I'll feel comfortable looking at a new product. But like, I have no clue when it comes to rums, and I have no clue when it comes to agave spirits either, because it's the same thing. There's almost nothing here where I live. So it's the places where, again, I personally could use the most growth of understanding, and I want to know more things. It's just like, obviously I got hit with whiskey first and I learned all the things about whiskey, but I'm not like exclusive to whiskey for, obviously. It's just that that's what I know. And I know there's a lot of things I still want to experience with whiskey. So I'm like, still want to buy lots of whiskey. So it's hard to find the like part of the budget that's supposed to go to the shit that I don't know. Cause what happens is like, well, I want to spend some money on a different category for once. Let's go look at Mezcal for a minute. What the fuck's going on here? And you get overwhelmed for a minute and you're like, well, instead of being overwhelmed by all this Mezcal shit, I'm just going to go buy something that I know what it is, that I know that I want already. So that's the hard part. But I'll get there. I will get there. And it's bad for the wallet. It's bad for the wallet, but that's okay. Because I don't drink these very fast, so in some ways it's like a long-term investment. But yeah, like to me, it was wild to me that this was like so cheap. And I know it's blended, but it's like so cheap, and it's 57% alcohol, and it's rum. It's like all the rums here are 40% alcohol. Like you don't get any overproofed rums around here. except for like, you know, that one bottle of Barbados 2013 Plantation. That's overproof, but this thing was so cheap. It seemed like illegal. But yeah, we'll get there. Bacardi one. Look, I don't mean like drinking rum. That's basically just vodka. Mm. Yeah. Yeah, good variety. But yeah, I like to expand my other categories because I know there's plenty of Irish stuff. I'm slacking a little bit on Irish stuff, and part of it is because like, Caribbean gasoline. Part of it is because like, I'm gonna be honest. A lot of the Irish stuff is out of Middleton, and the Middleton products don't impress me that much. Like, I don't know if I don't get it, but the Irish Middleton products, like the Spots, the Redbreast line, the Jameson products, they're so smooth. They're so safe. They go down so easy, and that's not like my preference. Like, my preference is like weird, unique, funky, jarring characters that are like a little bit challenging. I want to be challenged a little bit. And I find that like, especially the Middleton products are not that challenging when it comes to Irish whiskey. And so I have like an innate propensity to not want to like buy them very much. I'm like, I'm not really that interested. Like, for example, there's a Redbreast 15 in Alberta that's on sale right now. And I'm like, I should try that. But I'm not that excited about it because I feel like it'll be very safe and very soft, very tame, and not that interesting. You know? So it's not on the first of my list, but I know I'm slacking a little bit on Irish whiskey. I could do better with that. We've been picking up on Canadian whiskeys too. But of course, it's budget. We're trying not to like send things on a credit card. We're trying to like keep within our means here. Blue Spot and Redbreast 12 CS. Yeah, so that's yeah, so those are ones that like those like I don't know if I can get. I haven't seen a Redbreast 12 CS recently. But that's kind of one of the ones that like it was the same with. I should put everything away, so I don't want to get it out. But like with Canadian whiskey, a lot of Canadian whiskeys are 40% alcohol. They're very tame and smooth and approachable. And then I had that that Newfie one, that Founders Select Overproof. It's like 56.2% alcohol, but it's just like blended Canadian whiskey. But it's like the proof is like way up there, and that made it so good. So that's what I'm kind of thinking. Like maybe you're right. Like maybe I need to get something that's cask strength. The blue is like 7-year-old cask strength, isn't it? Spot blue. Yeah, 7-year-old cask strength. Yeah, see, like, yeah, those. I get the feeling if I get those, maybe that'll be like what I actually want out of Irish whiskey. Like maybe when they're proofed down, it's just way too tame. You know what I mean? The floor whiskey's gone. That's right. But that just means there's space for more floor whiskey. Well, the wooden cabinet's empty right now, so I can fill the wooden cabinet, right? The black cabinet's already full. Okay. It was from Newfoundland. They probably distilled a moose in it. Yeah, the thing I hate to say is there's no distilleries in Newfoundland. So unfortunately, that Newfie whiskey is actually just Canadian blended whiskey that they happened to blend in Newfoundland, but it's not distilled in Newfoundland. Just like Newfie Screech. You ever heard of Newfie Screech before? Newfie Screech is just Jamaican rum. But yeah, Blue Spot. Yeah, that might be where I'm at. I maybe need to get some of that. Because again, like I would rather have a Bushmills product. Like Bushmills products, like there's better flavor in Bushmills products. So like when I'm looking at Irish whiskey right now, I'm looking at Bushmills products. I'm like, even if it's like 40% alcohol, the Bushmills products are so much more interesting to me. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's the single pot still thing. I don't know. Like maybe the fact that it's Bushmills is single malt. I'm not sure. But yeah, those are Blue Spot or Redbreast 12 CS. Those would be good places to go next, or at least they would keep me interested. They have these in Alberta. The problem with Blue Spot and Redbreasts that are not the 12 is sometimes they're hard to get. Yeah, the price is really up there. They do have some Blue Spot here. They have some Red Spot too. But the price is really up there. Bushmills Black Bush. Yeah, I've heard so many people really like Black Bush, despite the fact that it's get your mind out of the fucking gutter, Cricks. I know. Yeah, Black Bush I heard is really good value. Let's keep this PG. Yeah, exactly. I knew what you were thinking. Yeah. So it's like I could get one. What ABV is this one? You're gonna make me fucking enhance? Enhance! I can't fucking tell. Is that 42? Is that 40? I hate this website, doesn't actually fucking tell me. Everyone got their own fetish. Holy fuck. I think Lickbo will tell me. 46. Here's the interesting thing. This is probably closer to MSRP, but since the Alberta shops are like private, they jack the price up. It's kind of like in the States in some places, right? They know this bottle is like a higher value, so they jack the price up. Like this is probably supposed to be 150. It's Blue Spot. Oh, here we go. Hey, that's not bad. Did they just get this? I think they must have just got this. Maybe. Maybe this is it. Like, this is only $7 before taxes more expensive than the regular 12. Like, how does that make sense? Who's bought a crazy price arc here but came back down? Yeah. See, I think the problem is like they might have Blue Spot around here in Alberta because they're jacking the price up. Yeah, see, it's out of stock here. They're Craft Seller just got a new website and it's kind of like a trick. But like you search, you type it in, you see it here. But as soon as I press enter, it goes away because that means it's out of stock. But this is probably closer to the real price. Yeah, that's more reasonable than $200. Yeah, see, they're charging way more for the cask strength on here. It's $30 more. The struggle with like these sites for me, like it doesn't seem too, like this one doesn't seem too bad, right? But what you have to remember is this is on the other side of the country from me, and this stuff doesn't exist near me. So in order for me to like get this 12 CS, the shipping is like $56. So I have to like, and it's in batches. It's like they do like 4 bottles, then 6 bottles, then 8 bottles, or something like that. So really, I have to like, if I want to do an order with this, I have to order at least 4 bottles, and then I have to pay $56 in shipping. So it's like, it's a lot. It's a lot. You have to like really like do a kind of a big order. You got to do 8s. That's even worse. At least on this site, I think it's this site. This site they do 1, 4, and 6. I think so. If you just want 1 bottle, the shipping's not too bad. Or something like that. But it's like, well, I could get this 1 bottle shipped for like $25, and that makes this like $150, which is still more than if I shipped this 1 bottle like $56 shipping. So it's like you might as well make it worth it, right? And the way it is for me, it's like sometimes you get bottles on here that are a really good deal, but if they don't cost enough, it's not worth it. So like if you think of a 4-pack, if it's like 56, if you think of like that $56 shipping is like divided in the 4 bottles roughly, then like if something like is cheap but like a good price, it's still like instantly not worth it. And the price, there's also price differences too. Like for example, like I think Glen, like regular Glenlivet 12 here is more expensive. Like this Glenlivet 12 year, like it's on sale for $63, but this is before taxes, and this bottle is $71, taxes included, in my province. So like this isn't even worth buying. It's not, you can't, there's no point in shipping it. So it's like you want to buy more expensive bottles. Like the more expensive the bottles are, the more worth it is to ship them, because like the expensive bottles, so say things that are like over $200, which I don't have really any bottles that are that expensive, because I'm trying to buy more things, not less, more expensive things. But like there are bottles on here that are like $400 that in my province are like $600 or $700. So that's like instantly worth it. But then you get into that mid range where it's like between like $100 and $250, where like you can really kind of make up the shipping almost instantly if you have 1 bottle that's like worth it. Like I've been trying to get one of these lures forever, and when this was available in my province, I don't think it's available anymore, but it was like, I can't remember if it was $280 or $260. I think it was $260. So it's like if I wanted to buy this, the shipping is like instantly worth it. And then all I have to do after that is find some bottles that maybe are necessarily not on sale or necessarily cheaper, but they're things I can't get in my province. So it's like this makes the shipping worth it. And then I can buy some other stuff that are like just not available near me. That's like the way I try to make it work. But yeah. Yeah, maybe some cask strength Irish. Maybe that's where it's at. Okay. 3 hours, not too bad. We did our thing. We got the cabinet done. That was great. It just gives us space for more things, which my wife scowled at. But look, as of right now, there's no floor whiskey, but there is floor books, and I'm not a reader. So I'm the one winning right now. There's floor books right now. I might stream some games or something later tonight, but I gotta eat something. I'm starving. Thank you guys for watching. I'll be back tomorrow, at least. Maybe tonight, but at least tomorrow. Regular time. Same place. Same stuff, same things. Yeah. Peace. See you guys tomorrow.